Today I went to the local used bookstore. I traded in a whole bunch of movies. I had DVDs here that I had recently upgraded them either to Blu-ray or 4K. And as I upgraded them, I had them sitting in a pile. I took them into the store. I traded them in. Now I was able to get a whole bunch of titles here. Some I've seen, some I have not. All brand new to the collection, and I had no money out of pocket. So this was just a win-win. It was a great deal. Now, as I did this, the idea was to only get Blu-ray movies, but I ended up getting 6 DVDs and 3 Blu-rays. We're going to set off the Blu-rays till last. We're going to save those very last. We're going to dive into these DVDs, but before we dive in, every single day I talk about movies and physical media. If that's the kind of content you like, please go ahead and subscribe. And while you're down there, let me know in the comments that you subscribed, because every single day I respond to every single one of them personally. All right, now let's dive into the movies. Now, the very first one here was End of Days. I've not seen this in so long, and probably since it first came out. I know my family had rented this. I really enjoyed it at the time. I know this one doesn't get well received. I never hear anything good about it, but I enjoyed this one. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger, Gabriel Byrne. I think it's fun, especially coming around Halloween time, the spooky season, anything to do with supernatural, anything to do in that vein, I'm all in. And so this to me was a no-brainer, and I think it sparked that emotion because I hadn't seen it in so long. So then I picked up the one title, and then I was like, all right, I'm just going to get the one, get my Blu-rays, and then I'll leave. So then I turn around and I see this movie here. This one I have not seen in a very long time. It's been on my wish list for a little while. There's a 4K German version of this that has like 6 discs and a whole bunch of extra features. But to import that was going to be a little bit too pricey for me, so I've been kind of hemming and hawing. It still was in my wish list for a long time, but now that I have this, I'm glad to have it. Eventually I'll upgrade to 4K if we ever get a version here in America, but having this and with that movie cover. Now, when I worked at a video store, that was the movie poster we had on the wall, so that's what I remember. But there's a couple versions of this with different cover art. This one here is my favorite though. Now, so as I had 2, then I was like, all right, if I pick up a third one, I can save $3. Yes, that's it. You spend a little more money, you save some money. Now I picked up Let Me In. I have not seen this movie at all. I've heard about it. I believe this is an American version. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm wrong, but I think that there's a counterpart to this, and so I think this is just the American version. This one stars Chloe Grace Moretz. I don't know anything about this. I'm looking forward to it, and it's a horror movie. It says right here, the best American horror film in the last 20 years by Stephen King. I guess that's saying something. Now, this one, so I got my 3. I'm ready to walk out the door, but I turn around and I see this on the spine, and I was like, oh, I gotta have that movie. I haven't seen it in 20 years. And so as I'm looking at this movie, I'm like, oh, I gotta get it. It is Spun. It stars John Leguizamo, Mina Suvari, Mickey Rourke is in this one, Brittany Murphy. There's an excellent cast. And what it was the day that I saw this, I was hanging out with a buddy. He showed me this film. He also told me about Big Trouble in Little China and Blazing Saddles. So those are the first time I had heard any of those. We had great conversation about movies. So even though this is a hard subject matter to watch, they're all meth addicts, and so it's just one of those films. However, really enjoyable. They all acted it very well. It's a well-made film, very, very underrated, and so glad to have this in the collection. The very next one here, I've never seen it. Don't know how I missed this one. I kind of knew it existed. It was a little bit on my radar. I remember vaguely seeing the trailers for this one, but you have Christina Ricci, Joshua Jackson, Shannon Elizabeth, directed by Wes Craven, and Cursed. Now this one here is a werewolf film. I do actually enjoy the movie poster on that one. Normally I don't, without usually the big heads and stuff. I like the old painted movie posters, but this one here, I don't mind it. I just don't know how I missed this one. Looking forward to getting into it. Again, being this so close to Halloween, a joy to have this in the collection. Now the next DVD we have, this is something I've been collecting for the past couple of years. They're a little harder because they're hard to come by, and when you do come across them, you see them on eBay and they're very pricey. But it's the Walt Disney Treasures collections. Now I have a few of the animated versions. This is the first time I ever had a non-animated one, but we have Davy Crockett, and this is an excellent pickup because like I said, they're kind of pricey on eBay, and to find this at the used bookstore for a few dollars, not a bad pickup at all. So glad to have this. Now, they used to originally come with a tin. I don't usually collect the tin. This one didn't have one. When it first came out and they were on sale, I think they were in like the Costco's and the BJ's here in America. And then they released a version without the tin. So I don't know if this one just didn't have it or they sold it or whatever, because I know that's a collector's item, highly sought after. But because they don't sit well on the shelf, I just don't care. And the few that I have gotten, I have sold. But glad to have this. But it did have the original paperwork that it came with, which is kind of neat, because as you get it, each one of them has like a movie card, has the booklet, but it has this. So the original movie poster in a small format. I'll be able to frame this up, put it on the wall with the other ones. And I know that a lot of people like to keep them inside and keep everything together. But my mindset is, if it's going to sit on the shelf, nobody knows it's there. Putting it on the wall, it really kind of sparks that conversation, and it inspires a new generation. My kids love it. So that's why I've been doing that. Now, with that being out of the way, we have the Blu-rays. Now, these ones here, again, this first one was an upgrade. I had this on DVD, but for a few dollars, well, technically didn't pay me anything for this today. But getting this one, it was just a no-brainer. Now I'll be able to trade in the DVD and get something else. Now this one, I love it. I don't like Ben Stiller. I talk about it all the time, but I think it works because he's the bad guy in the film. So I think why it gives it a pass. But I really enjoyed this, and again, it was just a great pickup. Now this one here, I have seen before. I really enjoyed the film. I don't know why I just haven't ever picked this one up, but I finally did, and I think I just don't remember ever seeing this in stores. It was No Country for Old Men. Really enjoyable film. Glad to have this in the collection. Now, the very, very next one, I've never had this movie. I've never seen this movie. It's been on my radar. I've known it has existed. I don't know how I missed this one, including the fact that I worked at a video rental store. This one, great pickup. It was Young Guns. Great cast. It's a Western. When anybody really talks about Westerns, even people that aren't big fans of Westerns do mention this one. I'm really glad to have this in the collection. Looking forward to diving into this one. And that was it. That was my entire haul. That's the stuff I picked up today. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you buy secondhand physical media, what your experiences are, and or if you've seen any of these movies. With that, we'll catch you guys next time.